Christians are really good at identifying external threats to Christianity: secularism, materialism, hedonism, atheism, Islam, skepticism. We recognize the threats and we arm ourselves against those external threats. But the great tragedy is that while Christians often focus on these external and worldly and otherly threats from without, they don't even see that the real threats, the real dangers lie within. Os Guinness described this situation 40 years ago when he wrote the book, The Gravedigger File, which describes a church that fights all of these external threats and never realizes it's in fact digging its own grave. The church is like a man who proudly eats only GMO or non-GMO and organic food to be healthy, and at the same time, he smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day. You see, while Christians are so concerned often about the church's witness and the integrity of that witness, and concerned about external threats that might debase and challenge that witness, they don't realize the internal threats that are desiccating and decimating the church even now: xenophobia, racism, consumerism, partisanship, and the specific examples that I want to talk about here: legalism and inhospitality. Take a look at this tweet as an example. Now, I've removed the account that posted this tweet, but it was posted by a Christian on Christmas Eve. Within a few hours, it received 10,000 likes and almost 10,000 retweets. People clearly resonated with the message of this tweet. They liked the message. This gentleman who posted this tweet, he was complaining, and his target was one of these external threats, that of irreverence being brought into the church. In this case, the irreverence expressed by a young man visiting church on Christmas Eve and committing the sin of wearing his hat on backwards. Now, I am a fan of Christian reverent worship, and I agree that just as you dress up and have a degree of formality and reverence when, let's say, you go to court or you attend a wedding, so it would make sense to express reverence and dress appropriately when you go to church and you celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. I get it. But if there was ever an example of focusing on the speck in your neighbor's eye and missing the plank in your own, surely this is it. Think about this: taking a photo of a person visiting a church on Christmas without their permission, criticizing them in a subsequent media post, social media post, which is then viewed by tens of thousands of people. And you're indignant because they wore their ball cap backwards. Do you see yourself? Hear the words of Jesus, slightly paraphrased from Matthew 27. Woe to you, legalistic keyboard warriors, you hypocrites. You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and weakness. Here is my earnest message to the church going into the year 2025. Shift your focus from these external threats that so anger you, that you believe are such dangers: atheism, skepticism, materialism, whatever, and turn your focus rather to the interior life of the church and of you as an individual. Look for things like the malignancy of your own legalism and inhospitality, which is profoundly corrupting the church and threatening to harm irreparably that church's host to a skeptical external world. Stop worrying about the speck in your neighbor's eye or the backward ball cap on their head, and instead start worrying about the toxic legalism and religiosity in your own heart.